Round 18 of the NRL season saw two teams host games at cricket grounds, two teams post record scores, and Freddie has named a very interesting team for Origin 3. So let's talk about it. What is happening, guys? It's your boy Burgz here from The Casual Athlete, back to hit you again with another tipping and predictions video. I know this one is a little bit later than last week's video, but I wanted to see the teams picked for Origin, and we have that now. So that is fantastic to see. Can't wait for Origin 3, and hopefully the Blues finally get a win, but I'm looking at the team that they've picked, and I do not have the highest of hopes. I wish I did. But as we always do, guys, let's take a look back at how I did last week. As you can see, guys, the Sharks decimated the Dragons, and that was no surprise there. Unfortunately, the Dragons just look lifeless at the moment, and Zach Lomax has been asked to leave as well. Yeah, it's just ominous signs for the Dragons right now. Could be a bit better in the future, but we'll wait and see what Flanagan does there. The Warriors, I thought they would get the win here. Unfortunately, I think Adam Fanua-Blake getting sent to the sin bin at a very pivotal moment in the game really cost them. I don't know why he particularly was sent to the sin bin, but we'll talk about that at another time. I just think the Rabbitohs seized momentum and just didn't let go of it right until the final whistle. The Storm, well, they came out hot. They led 14-0, and then it was a masterclass from guys like Luai. Dylan Edwards really stepped up in this game, and they scored 34 points to 2 in the end of it, and it just really got away from the Storm very quickly. Before they knew it, the Panthers were right next to them and then overtook them and just didn't let that lead go. Raiders, yeah, they played out another tight one, didn't they? I thought the Titans had the better running of this game and probably deserved the win. There was a dubious no-try call as well from David Fafita, and I guess another thing for the NRL to look at there, the Cowboys. And I talked about this one on the channel last week. Boom, baby. 74-0. Cop that. And it erased. As I said, I wanted these boys to erase the memory. That was 66-18 at Leichhardt Oval. And my Cowboys stepped up. They made it personal. And they dug the knife in and they gutted the Tigers. It was awesome to watch, and I don't think I will get over it for a long time. I've been letting my Tigers friends know every single day of the week so far. It's been a lovely start to my week. The Broncos made it a bit tough for me. I had them winning this game quite comfortably. The Dolphins weren't really showing me any kind of reason to give them my tip. Saying that, though, they did step up in this game and kept it pretty close with the Broncos. So, yeah, I can't really fault them for that. The Knights. Oh my God, where did that come from? And what does it say more, again, about the Dogs, really? I just think that getting beat 66-0 by the Knights is a complete embarrassment. I'm not saying that the Knights are the worst team in the comp, but they're definitely not, a top 4 team. And, they're a borderline top 8 team. And if you're getting hammered by them, you've got some serious issues on your hands. And the Dogs move into this week where they will be playing the Rabbitohs, which we'll get into a moment. Credit can't be given more to the Knights in this one. They really stepped up and put the foot down and showed everyone that maybe they need to be taken a little bit more seriously. And the Roosters, oh God, they had that game on lock, and then they just let Manly score towards the end of the game and just couldn't handle it. A lot of excuses that they can come up with, but they've got to move on, and they get a bye this week, so that is good for them. Moving on to the games that we have this week, guys. Up first, we have the Tigers taking on the Sharks on Thursday night at CommBank Stadium. One of the few games that the Tigers will be playing at CommBank Stadium this year. And on the back of a 74-point drubbing, I'm going to be tipping the Tigers. Sorry. No, I'm not. I'm definitely not going to be going the Tigers in this one. The Sharks have really shown their class as a team that just dominates bottom 8 teams. They did it to the Dragons last week, and from what I can tell, the Sharks will have a pretty much unchanged team for this week as well. So Nicho Hynes not getting the nod for Origin. I think, again, he'll probably want to show why he deserved a spot at 6 at least. And the Tigers, well, Jareem Buller is probably a standout. I think John Bateman tries his absolute heart out, but if Luke Brooks and Appy Coruscant aren't playing, then they are just a completely different team. They have no semblance of what to do in attack. They have no direction. It's very interesting that I'm saying that, considering that Brooks has been talked a lot about in the past about how he can't direct a team around the park. I think when he was in there with Abby Coruscant, they started to get it rolling, and there was a good formula there for a few weeks. I expect the Sharks to win this one well. They've won 9 out of the last 10 games against the Tigers. And the Tigers probably don't have the best record against anyone in the NRL, probably over the last 10 years or so, but it's especially bad against the Sharks. So I will be going the Sharks in this one, 13 plus. Okay, next up, we move on to Friday night's game where we have the Dragons taking on the Raiders. And this game is always a bit of a grudge match. I wouldn't necessarily call it a local derby, but has that kind of feel every single time these teams play. A lot of hoodoo happening in the past between these two teams. And there's been some great games out there. But in this one, the Dragons, I just don't get what they're doing right now. They're going to be missing Ben Hunt for this game. It's a big loss. What's just come out as well is that Lomax has been told that he can leave. He was being talked about in Origin circles just only a couple of years ago, and now being asked to leave is, I guess, a big blow to the ego for him potentially, and that, and getting sat out by Hook, and I think there's maybe a few attitude issues there coming in, but I won't go into speculation. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to talk about what I think this game is going to end up being, and I think the Raiders are making a lot of games closer than they probably should be, especially against teams that they should be getting a pretty easy win against. So I want to say Raiders 1-12 in this, but the Dragons have won the last 2 games between these two teams at Wynn Stadium, and that's where this game is on Friday night. So, with that being said, I'm still going to tip the Raiders. I just think that the Dragons, without their best player, are just not going to have really anything that they can offer. I mean, Sloan's been actually playing some pretty good football at the moment, but is it going to be enough to beat a Raiders side that is toughing it out quite a lot? They'll be missing Corey Horsburgh, but Hudson Young got dropped from the Blue side, so he will be playing this game as well. So they won't be missing too much firepower. I mean, Horsburgh has been a big part of their forward pack over the last couple of weeks, but yeah, I just see the Raiders getting this win. I just think they've got too much firepower at the moment. They're really working together well and grinding out wins, but I think this game will be close. Raiders 1-12. Next up, guys, we are back at CommBank Stadium at 5:30 on Saturday night, where the Eels will be taking on the Warriors. And the Warriors, they copped a bit of a loss last week, and that's to be expected from a team that's, I think, building something pretty special right now. They've got no Origin players for this game, so they're going to be pretty much full strength. The Eels, on the other hand, they're going to be missing some very key players. I know Junior Paulo got dropped from Origin, and that's a big surprise to me. I thought him and Payne Haas were two of the standouts that we had there in the middle. I know Payne Haas not available and doesn't play for either team, so we won't talk about him too much. No Moses. Gutho also got selected for Origin, so it's going to be a mixed bag. I'm very interested to see the team that the Eels put out. I expect Dejan Arce and Madison to be the halves again. That's how it was when Dylan Brown first got stood down and Moses got selected for Origin as well. With Gutho being out, though, this makes this game heaps harder to win. Eels have been in very good form. They probably get Sean Lane back for this game, and that's a big in for them. They don't have to keep running Andrew Davey and Bryce Cartwright as their second rowers. Nothing against those guys. They're just not the quality that we saw from Lane, not the quality of Madison, these higher caliber players. I expect the Warriors to go to CommBank and get a pretty comfortable win here. I'm not going to say 13 plus, though. I think the Warriors get this one done 1-12, but I just think the Eels are playing some pretty decent, football on the defense and offensive end, and I don't think they're going to be able to score as many points without guys like Gutho and Moses and the like. So, I do think that the Warriors will get this one done 1-12. Guys, just thought I'd interrupt the video for a moment to let you know that only 35% of you watching this are subscribed at the moment. So if you like the content that we put out each and every week, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Now on to the video. Next up is the Saturday night game where we have the Rabbitohs taking on the Dogs at Accor Stadium at 7:30. The Rabbitohs, they squeaked out a win last week in the wet, extremely wet conditions over in Auckland last week. Pelting down just, game where you think the game would be very close and very hard to score points, but they put up 28. So, what do I know about that? The Dogs, though. Oh, the Dogs. I just think if, and I spoke about it a little bit in our intro, if you're getting beaten by 66 points to a team that's not even really in contention for the top 8 this year, and they've had some very patchy form themselves, you've got some serious things to take a look at. They only have really Josh Adokar missing for this game, so not a massive out. I think Josh hasn't been playing his best footy, and he would probably admit to that. So, yeah, the Rabbitohs have also won the last 5 straight against the Dogs, and in each of those games, they've put up 30 plus. So, I really want to tip the Rabbitohs, even though they don't have Murray, they don't have Cody Walker, they don't have Keon Koloamatangi as well, also got selected, and no Latrell as well. So I think the Rabbitohs are significantly down on troops, but this makes it more of an even game to me. I think that the Rabbitohs could still come out and score a few points. Campbell Graham also won't be playing. I just think the Dogs mentally, for themselves even, have to bounce back after getting smacked last week. So I'm actually going to go the Dogs in this one, guys. 1-12. Alrighty, guys. Moving on to the last game of the round, we have the Titans taking on the Dolphins at Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. And this is possibly going to be a bit of a revenge story for the Titans. Now, the last time these two teams met, the Titans went out to a 26-0 lead and got run down and got beaten 28-26. The Dolphins will probably be without their best player this year, the Hammer, who has been outstanding for them. So that is a tough miss, although they do get guys like Jared Wallace, Milford back as well. The Titans, though, with Reece Walsh being unavailable for Origin, they will be missing AJ Brimson, they will be missing Tino, and they will be missing David Fafita as well. I just think that the Titans have the running at the moment. They put up a pretty good display against the Raiders last week and, had a win the week before. So I want to tip the Titans just based on how bad the Dolphins have been over the last 6 weeks. They've won 1 out of their last 6 games, and it's just been, a bit of a rabble. They were a bit more impressive last week, but I think, guys that have gone down in recent weeks have not helped them at all. I just think that Jerry Marshall King is extremely important to their team, and now he's out again. That knee injury seems to be bothering him quite a bit. Sean O'Sullivan really hasn't recaptured the form that he showed in the first couple of weeks of the season, and he's struggling to find his feet a little bit again. Yeah, tough one. I think that with the outs that the Titans have, this game's going to be a scrappy game. I'm going to go Dolphins, 1-12. I know that they showed a bit last week. They showed me enough that they can beat the Titans, who are going to be missing probably their 3 best players. I'm going to go Dolphins, 1-12. So that is it for our video this week, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to The Casual Athlete to get all your favorite fantasy, tipping, ranking videos, content, and more. And I'll catch you on the next one.